say heads up.
All right. Somebody got an arm on them, don't it?
Yeah. Hey, he said you got an arm on you, huh? Okay.
Shema Yasser Allah Yahweh Allah Haganawa Yahweh Achad Shema Yasser Allah Yahweh Allah Haganawa Yahweh Achad Shema Yasser Allah Yahweh Allah Haganawa Yahweh Achad Brakatha Yahweh, Brakatha Yahweh Shai, Brakatha Yahweh, Brakatha Yahweh Shai, Brakatha Yahweh, Brakatha Yahweh Shai, Bahasar Hakudash. I want to give double honors to our elder apostles, elder bishops of Great Millstone who rule well, as well as peace and blessings, health and wellness to the house of David the elect. I'm Zahar, spirit and lawyer, and today I want to go into a topic, as you can see, the Tower of Babel. The second Tower of Babel is going to crash too. The second Tower of Babel is going to crash too, man. All right, you already know where I'm going with this. All right. It tells you in the book of Job 20, in the fullness of his sufficiency, the Most High is basically going to bring his ass down, man. Which, in other words, interpretation, when Esau is about to complete his new world order, or when he's really about to implement the Karagma and really think that he's going to have his NWO established, all right? This is going to hit his ass, man. That's why we're here, man. We're not here just to be walking around knowing we're Israelites, which, once again, we have a beautiful culture, but we're here, all right, to get out of here. We're here to not be here. We're here to condemn a beast. We're here to condemn a wicked man that's been ruling the earth 500 plus years, man. All right, we're here to convey the word of the king. The king is Yahweh, all right? And the son's name is Yahweh Shai, okay? We're here to condemn, bring down the stronghold, man. Just how you had the kingdom of the Turks, the Turkish Empire with Muhammad, all right? And he wanted to tear down the Roman Empire, which at that time was led by Jake. But that Roman Empire, what they call the Byzantine Empire, it was fortified by a strong wall, man. All right? And those strong walls fortified kingdoms for years, for centuries. You see? So Esau has been held up, been fortified by a strong wall. All right? His media, his military, his money, his religion. All right? Collectively, they made up his forts. All right, but we're here through the spirit and power of Yahweh by Hashem Shai to tear down this man's wall, man. To tear down his stronghold. That's why it says in the scriptures, all right, the weapons of our warfare are not carnal. It's not physical. But it's mighty through Yahweh by Hashem Shai. And what's mighty through Yahweh by Hashem Shai? The word. The Most High's word. Going back to Jericho, the seven walls. The wall of Jericho, man. That was spiritual. Although it really happened, a sound brought down the walls of Jericho. This time, a sound or a sound wave is bringing down the walls of Jericho, man. And that sound is the word of Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai, man. Hey, I hope brothers can hear me. I know we got a little wind. So just let me know if y'all can hear me or if it's a lot of wind. If it's a lot of wind, let me know so I can go to my car and finish the lesson. You know, there's no point of doing a lesson if you hear the wind more than you hear my voice, you know? So, Babaka Shah, brothers can give me let me know if I'm clear. And if I'm not clear, just say no good. And I can walk to my car. Call Tawab, the water, brother. The water. All right, so going back to the lesson, okay? Khan, the water. You know, going back to the lesson, man. All right. This has been a long-standing kingdom, far too long. Going back to the 1492. If we're talking about Babylon, all right, it's been established in 1776, but that little peasant came here, what, 1492? You know? That little demon, man. Don't you understand that Esau is physical and spiritual death? He's spiritual death. He's physical death. Don't you understand that when the Edomites came over here to the ends of the earth, are biblically called the ends of the earth, what they call America? All right, don't you understand that his presence threw off the literal ecosystem here? I'm not going to even get into the actual killings that he's committed, the atrocities that this demon has committed upon those who were at peace with him, also known as Gad and Reuben. But this man brought roaches over here, man. If that's not a nigga, I don't know what is, man. You ever had a roach in your apartment or your house? And it's like, man, this ain't my roach. We need to have roaches. But somebody brought the roach there, man. All right, Esau was an unclean vessel. I mean, technically he's a clean leper, but he's an unclean spirit, man. He's death. So when this man came to the Americas, he brought death with him. He threw off the ecosystem. He brought animals here that threw off the ecosystem. The America that you see today, geographically, is not the Idumean America, man, on a geographical level. Then he brought another pestilence here called Roman Catholicism, man, which is basically mental illness. It's a plague of the heart. Our forefathers, Sirach said, what? Give me any plague but the plague of the heart. And what is the heart? It's the mind. Is that La'ab, the mind. If you're a Roman Catholic, if you have any religion deriving back to Roman Catholicism, you have a mental illness, man. Okay? So this demon came here in 1492 because that was around the time of the rebirth of the Roman Empire. All right, Christopher Columbus, man. But that was the first cancer cell. I can't even say that fucking word. But that was the first little parasite that came here, man. You see? And look at what that has grown to. That's why it says what in Sirach? The physician cut off a long disease. Esau's rulership was a long disease, man. A 600-700-year-old long disease, man. Look at the fucking earth, man. Look at the earth, man. This ain't no real lake. This was a reservoir. This was created, man. Although it's your pie. It's your pie, but it's still created, man. Esau has messed up the earth, man. Why can't we go to a lake and drink the water out thereof, man? When Gad was Esau free, pre-Esau Gad, man, that was drinking out of the lakes. The lakes had gemstones and all type of minerals in it, man. There's a brand of water. There's a brand that bottles water called Mountain Valley. And if you look at the back of the bottle, it tells you that that water is sourced in Arkansas. And it's a mountain in Arkansas that water goes down. All right? And that mountain has clear quartz in the mountain. So when the water goes down that mountain, it absorbs the minerals from the clear quartz, man. But we had that all throughout the Americas, man. Okay? Don't you understand that Earth was a paradise? Even during the time of Gad being here, when the Most High brought the northern kingdom pursuant to 2nd Ezra, the 13th chapter, when Yahweh Bahashim Shai brought the northern kingdom to the Americas, don't you understand he brought them to another version of paradise, man? When King Solomon, in his riches, in the peak of his power, when he brought animals, and that's, you know, other brothers have done breakdowns, apostles have done breakdowns on it. He brought animals from America, basically. I'm thinking of it wasn't called America in the Bible, but it was a 3 years journey, a year and a half from Jerusalem and a year and a half back. All right, basically Ophir. All right, but he brought animals from the Americas because America was a paradise, man. The peacock. All right, it's a beautiful bird, man. It's different animals that was basically native to the Americas, man. All right, he brought it to the Middle East. You know? You see? So, hey, there you go, man. Hey, Yahweh Shalom. GMS in his likeness, Shalom. GMS all in 144, Shalom. And to you brothers and sisters who are tuning into his live stream, man. All right? And that was the beginning of it. Now he's reached the culmination of his power, man. Really, he's on a decline. But because he's on a decline, what does it say in Revelation? He have but a short time. So that's why he's setting the stage, putting the pieces together to create a power move. And that power move is ultimately everybody taking the chip, man. Everybody taking a charagma, man. You see? So what does that mean, man? Everybody taking a charagma. Everybody, all right, then that means if everybody takes the charagma, the remaining people in his dystopian, twisted, dark new world order, because he wants to bring the population to what? 500 million. All right. Then what does that mean? That means that, he'll basically have the people, all the people belong to the Most High. But basically, he's telling the Most High through his action, no, these people belong to me. Who sitteth in the temple of Yahweh Bahashmal Shai and showed himself that he is the Most High. It's Esau Edom, man. Job 9:24. The earth is given to the hands of the wicked. He covered the faces of the judges thereof. If not, then where and who is he, man? Okay. You see, the earth is held. The earth is captive, man. The people on the earth are captive. Men are captive, man. Everybody is in a cage. Every American citizen and really everybody on earth is really in a cage, man. What do I mean by that? The Most High's intention for men on the planet Earth is not fulfilled under Esau's rulership. Everybody's subject to payments, particularly the 12 tribes of Israel, man. Everybody's subject to a mortgage, an apartment, a car note, child support. A big percentage, I forgot the number, of Israelites, so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native Americans, man, and Latino Americans, they're some way bound to the prison industrial complex. So that has restricted them as far as access in this kingdom, man. That's real talk. Let me start walking back because I know the park closes at dark. You see? But that's pretty much the point, man. But in the fullness of his sufficiency, the Most High should bring him down. And how is he going to bring him down? Hey, thermonuclear missiles, man. Intercontinental ballistic missiles. Second Ezra, what's that, 16? How strong is his right hand that bendeth the bow? They released those arrows, roughly paraphrasing, to the other side of the earth. Now, what name that arrow that can be shot from one continent to the next, man? It's not. It's a metaphor, all right, for an intercontinental ballistic missile, man. A transcontinental ballistic missile, man. And whose right hand is that? It's Yahweh Bahashmal Shai's right hand, man. That shallow is the bow. But whose ultimate shallow does that belong to, man? Because it's called in the scriptures. It's referred to as what? That missile is referred to as that glittering spear. You see? But it says in Sirach, this 39, I believe, there be spirits created for vengeance. And one of those spirits is what? Fire. The other spirit is a sword. And what is an intercontinental ballistic missile? It's a flying sword, all right, connected to fire. Nuclear bombs, man. Nuclear warheads, man. So technically it's a sword, but it's a sword it's like an arrow with a flame at the end, like in the ancient world, man. But this time, this is the modern version of that. The futuristic version of that, which is a missile with a nuclear warhead at the end. But it's basically like, if you think about it, in my eyes, it's an arrow with a flame at the tip, man. But instead of attacking one man or unaliving one man, it's there to decimate millions, put to death millions, man. All right, and that's Yahweh Bahashmal Shai tearing down the modern Tower of Babel, man. You know, through the mind of the current kings on this planet Earth, Putin, all right, these current kingdoms, Iran, North Korea, Japan, China, even his own allies, man, they all gonna turn those missiles towards one direction, all right? And the direction is called the North. It's called the end of the earth, all right? In today's terms, it's called America. Spiritually, it's called Sodom and Egypt. Mystery Babylon the Great, all right? And in the near future, Salak, in the near future, all right, pursuant to Jeremiah, this place that's called the end of the earth, it's called Mystery Babylon, it's called Babylon the Great. Soon it's gonna be called a fucking desert, man. All right, a desolate wilderness, man. Because this is the end result of a covetous man. Pursuant to what? The book of Job. This is the end result of an example of wickedness. All right. This is the end of a sentence of a transgression that started what? In the garden with Adam. And this is the end result of Adam, all right, experiencing, all right, or the sons of Adam, Salah, experiencing good and evil. This was the education. Now the education is done. All right. But I hope this was of edification. All right. Once again, I want to give all honor and glory to Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Chahakodash. I also want to give double honors to our elder apostles and elder bishops of Great Millstone who rule well. Peace and blessings, health and wellness to the house of David the elect. Abba Baal, Kum Yashala, Shalom.